Hello everybody, thanks for checking out this video. Now these two philodendrons plowmanii didn't make the cut for this video about my top 10 favorite unpopular philodendrons of 2022. They are beautiful, but they are not really unpopular, and that's what this video is all about, philodendrons that few people talk about or seem to own. Now, I have quite a few of these lesser known philodendrons. I also have an ongoing series about them on my channel. So when I had to pick just 10 for this video, I had some kind of Sophie's Choice moment, but in the end I did manage to make a selection of 10. So let's see what they look like. Now my first favorite is this Philodendron giganteum. And while I was filming it, I noticed that the stick that I gave it for support was a little bit ridiculously small. So I had to fix that right away. And here is the result. A nice tall moss ball. But then I noticed that there was quite a bit of space left in that big pot. And just as it happens, I had this fully rooted cutting of a Philodendron golden dragon. So I told myself that it would make sense to give my giant plant a dragon at its feet. And so I planted a golden dragon cutting in the giant spot as a companion plant. And since it's also a climber, I will make double use of the moss ball since both plants will enjoy it. All this was obviously just an excuse to sneak an extra philodendron in my top 10, but at the same time I think that once the golden dragon starts climbing, it will be a very interesting sight. And by the way, I bought the gigantium 1.5 years ago when it was still very small with only 4 leaves. And as you can see on this picture, just look how it has grown since then. My second favorite in this top 10 is this Philodendron scottianum that arrived in a pretty bad shape at my place. It almost died actually, and then miraculously it made a full recovery. Now I love the bright green on this plant, but also the small fuzzy petioles that it has. So even when a philodendron looks beyond saving, there's always hope that it will come back after all. And this is where my scottianum hangs out, close to an east-facing window. Now favorite number 3, this Philodendron linaii 3 gets the prize for the weirdest growing pattern, since it grew its stem in a full circle in the middle, as you might be able to see, before continuing its way up as if nothing happened. Now this plant has been with me for almost 2 years. I propagated it several times and it just keeps on growing. And I think this plant has a lot of character, even though it doesn't have the biggest leaves. Now when filming favorite number 4, this paloraense CF, I wasn't happy with the way it looked. So once again I got distracted from filming and gave it this trellis for its future leaves. And after that I noticed once again all that free space in this pot. And yes, I had an extra fully rooted golden dragon cutting with a very nice growing point, so in the pot that plant went too. And then there was still some space left in the pot on the left, so I decided to also put a rooted asplundii type cutting in the same pot. And since the cutting seemed to be trapped in this plastic bottle, I eventually even had to burn the bottle open to free the cutting inside. So here it is, paloraense CF, golden dragon and asplundii type all living together. Now one of the things I like most about the paloraense CF is that the back of its leaves are completely dark purple, which I think is just a gorgeous sight. Now let's have a closer look at favorite number 5, which is this Philodendron tenue type that I bought 1.5 years ago, and I gotta say this plant has a lot going on. After I cut it back, it produced the weirdest and silliest leaf. It also has lots of aerial roots, as you can see here, and it activated a new growing point right in the middle. But the weirdest thing is this camouflage-like or sports variegation on its 3 biggest leaves. So that was favorite number 5, the Philodendron tenue type. Alright, over to favorite number 6, this is my Philodendron Goldie Eye. Now officially this is not a philodendron anymore, it is supposed to be a tomatophyllum, but I keep calling it a philodendron anyway, and it's one of my favorite ones. The 4 leaves that you see are all new. It lost all its old leaves, and you can see here that it's currently working on a 5th new leaf. Now the interesting thing about these leaves is that each leaf is actually a whole bunch of separate smaller leaves. Now a Goldie Eye branches out in all directions, so if you want to keep one, make sure that you have enough space for it. Okay, over to favorite number 7, which is this Philodendron Majesty, that I picked because I wanted to include at least one philodendron with dark foliage. And you can see it's working on a new leaf at this very moment. And I just love these very dark, almost black leaves that this philodendron has. And when you have a closer look at the leaves, you can see that in the middle there is this purple veining. And this philodendron is a fast grower and very easy care. I have 2 specimens of favorite number 8, which is the Philodendron pulchrum. The first one I ordered, which is the one on the right, didn't fare well at all. It lost almost all of its leaves to a point that I thought it was definitely gonna die. So I convinced the seller to send me a free replacement specimen, which is the one you can see on the left. But then the first one decided to bounce back, so I ended up with 2 plants that are thriving at the moment. And I just love the color on the leaves, the leaf shape and the pinkish petioles on this plant. Now no top 10 would be complete without this Philodendron medisa, my favorite number 9, which is a Belgian cultivar of the painted lady. And just look at all this pinkish red that this plant is showing off. I also love the discrete color differences on the leaves. And when I bought the plant, I cut back one of the 2 plants that were in the pot. And now the plant that I cut back has gotten almost as tall again as the other one that I didn't cut. I think this is just a wonderful plant. Finally, we have favorite number 10, the Philodendron geniculatum. And this stunning plant is the reason why, if a plant ships badly a first time, I will give it another go and order it a second time. The first plant arrived like this, totally ready for the trash. But then I ordered it again, and this time it arrived in perfect shape. And that's the plant you are watching right now. It has these big dark veined leaves, and it's currently working on a new leaf, as you can see right here. And I have to say, this is definitely one of my favorite unpopular philodendrons. Okay, so that concludes my top 10 of unpopular philodendrons of 2022. And while my philodendron pedatum glad hands is waving you goodbye, I have to say that I'm considering to make a part 2 of this video with 10 other unpopular philodendrons. So feel free to let me know in the comment section below if you would like to see such a sequel with 10 more of these lesser known philodendrons. That's all for this video. Thanks a lot again for watching. If you liked it, please consider liking it and or subscribing to my channel. I wish you a very nice day. Bye bye.